Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Words of Pearls. How are you? Just wanted to have a quick little chat. Last week I had gone to Pennsylvania, so I wasn't able to do Words of Pearls because I was on the road. But anyway, just wanted to, ask, are you someone who tries to fix someone? Or are you someone who makes excuses for folks who bad behavior, right? Like sometimes you may be a parent, you may not be. It could be a spouse. Folks do it for family members, do it for friends, do it for loved ones, do it for whomever they choose to, right? So the thing is that sometimes folks are rude or nasty, and you say, and it can be members of the church, it can be your pastor, the elder, the deacon, whoever it may be. And sometimes you have folks who are unkind to others. They will roll their eyes or be condescending or be dismissive, even. And then, you know, if someone's saying to you, wow, that was rather rude or something, and then you jump in to say, oh no, but that's not how they are. They're going through a lot. This happened or that happened. Let me ask you a question. Do you react that way when you're going through the going through? When your bills are high and your funds are low, do you act that way when you're stressed, when you're overworked, when you're exhausted, when you're going through whatever it is you're going through? Do you act that way? If you don't, stop making excuses for those who react differently than you do. And then talking about those who try to save others. And, many of us do this, and most often than not, females tend to do this more than men, which is thinking that we can be others' savior. We're not. If you notice, Christ never forced himself on anyone, never forced his opinion on anyone, never forced his help on anyone. When one needed help and asked for help. We do see in the situation where he did ask the gentleman who was at the pool, uh, the gate beautiful, and do you want to be healed? And the man said he has no one to help him, right? But still, you don't see Christ forcing his help on him, but rather being there to show him, you know, his focus had been wrong the whole time, without being condescending, without being dismissive, without being harsh, but out of compassion, showing him so that he could be healed. Now, when he said, rise, take up your bed and walk, the man had a choice. He could have continued to make excuses, but he took up his bed and walked. The thing is that sometimes we're trying to help those who may not want the help, may not be ready for the help. There are folks that they like being in that, let's put it this way. Some people like attention, no matter what kind of attention it is. So some folks, when they're going through and people are showing empathy, sympathy, whatever it may be, whether it's good, even pity, they will take that, right? Something, some kind of a action is being, uh, emotion, some kind of a, even kindness. And some people mistake kindness for other things as well. Mistake kindness for thinking that that is love. It's done out of love, but not necessarily being in love with. And so today's message is simply about making sure that we're aware of what we're facing, what we're up against, what we're doing, what kind of help we're receiving, that kind of a thing. So, whatever position we find ourselves in, that we can look and say and stop making excuses, because sometimes it does not help the person. If we're making excuses for bad behavior, that's just going to continue. That person or persons, they will not, he or she, or they will not acknowledge the role they play, right? And so they will deem it okay. I remember years ago, a young lady said, after getting divorced from the man she married, she said, she always used to make excuses for his actions when they went out to the restaurant and he was unkind to the waitress as they were walking in the street, and he was condescending, was looking down on those who were out there that didn't have. Um, and just unkind words that he would say about um, coworkers, even his own family members, just the unkindness, being harsh with his mom, but then just saying, but he's kind to me, right? He was kind to her. He always showed her, until after they got married and he became abusive with her, starting out with his words and eventually putting his fists on her. And this, she said, the clues were there all along. She made excuses for many or most of them until it finally happened to her. I say this to say that just because someone is kind to you, someone may not, whether it's a dating situation or you've just known them, and for whatever reason, what they unleash on others, they don't unleash on you. Don't excuse it. Bible says, if you're a friend, show yourself friendly. The kisses, how does it, what is that saying? And there's a Proverbs that, if you're true to someone, it's better than the false kisses that they get. So if you, who may be able to have that person ear, or you think they're kind to you, or they are indeed kind to you, and you have the opportunity to say, you know what, you just dealt harshly with that person, you didn't have to. You were rude, and you didn't have to be. And you don't have to go past that. Let them examine themselves because you've pointed it out. That way, eventually, they will probably acknowledge they do have a problem. Maybe they'll seek to get help. And if they seek to get help, that's a wonderful thing because then you really have a trusted friend, lover, brother, sister, wife, mother, aunt, uncle, whoever the person may be to you. Instead of having them inflicting hurt and pain on others through their words and actions, and you dismissing it all the time, because then you're actually co-signing their actions, right? And that's not something you want to do. You're being a part of. There are laws in which if a person does something and you're present, you're actually part of, you too can go to jail. I just say that to say that simply because they're not committing a crime does not mean that it's something you should condone. unless you actually, you yourself, believe that what they just did and said is okay. I mean, I know sometimes there are parents that will do that with their kids, even though they're wrong, until that kid turns around, grows up, and then is unkind to the parent. We've got to simply stop and take stock, not policing anyone, not being the gatekeepers, but if something is done in your presence and it's wrong, and you know it is, don't be silent. Don't condone it. Don't dismiss it. Don't excuse it. Address it. Pray about it. You can encourage folks to get help if you see someone has an anger problem, because you never know when it will be used against you. And as I said before, it's just a thought. It's something I was thinking about. I've seen it being done, and I've actually seen, folks really turn on the ones who used to make the excuse, but the actions were always there. And so we shouldn't really condone the wrong or excuse the wrong or placate, just to be on a person's good side, or, whatever the reason that you may have, but just to know that you can address it and you can encourage that person to take no. And maybe it may just be because it's a part of that person's personality in doing that. And they may be making an effort to have you see them in a good light. Because sometimes some of those folks are gaslighters. And we know how manipulative a gaslighter can be. We know how devious they can be. So just that was something the Lord impressed upon me to share. I don't know who needs to hear it, but you know, whoever it is for, I pray you take it in love and take it with grace and know that you are loved too much to continue doing what you're doing, because you're only supporting that person. And if they lash out at others and do things inadvertently and it becomes a criminal act, in essence, you've kind of condoned it. You didn't cause them to, but you never addressed the issue. You simply encouraged it by excusing their actions or dismissing, well, it's nothing. Oh, they were just going through. Oh, you know, yeah, they're going through a rough time. Oh, they suffered the loss. Oh, they broke up or with someone. Or you just don't know what it is they're going through. They're really going through a rough time. Things are difficult at home. Things are difficult on the job, and no one else in the world has issues. Does everyone act that way? I'm talking about actions that no needs to be corrected. That kind of really. So, wherever we see this, we should stop condoning and excusing and address the issue. Address it in love and encourage those, because if they need help, it's best to get help earlier on, right? So just food for thought. So have yourself a wonderful night and know that you and whoever that person may be or persons are loved, loved, loved by God. He loves that person too much for them to remain doing that. And he loves you too much for you continue to be supportive in that kind of actions or attitude. that can lead to something worse. So I have not entitled this, but if anyone out there seems, if you think it should be given a title, you can always put that in the chat. I'd appreciate it. All right. So now let me just check to see if anyone's on at the moment. And then okay, well, today I can see no one's on at the moment. So at whatever point in time you see this message, remember to like and share, and I will upload this video to my YouTube channel. And my YouTube channel is under the name Flo, F-L-O, 3 letters, Chang-Ageda. And so you can share with your friends, your loved ones, whoever you think might need to hear it, or however you're led to share. And also share on your page, because you never know who will come across it that might need this message. So have yourself a wonderful and a safe weekend. Stay cool and be safe.